Due to his healing factor, Wolverine has been walking the earth for a very long time. At over 130 years old, the seductive Wolverine has obviously had many loves. A lot of them. Whether in the past, the present, in alternate lands, or even if he doesn't remember them, which happens quite often, Wolverine has a massive list of passions. But there are those who left a more lasting mark on the heart of the Canadian mutant. In today's video, we've selected Wolverine's 10 greatest loves. Rose. Wolverine is known for many things, but one defining trait is his love for red-headed women. He has always had this preference, but for years, he couldn't remember where it came from. Logan was once a sickly boy, and his parents hired a babysitter for him, a young woman named Rose, for whom the young Wolverine developed an attraction. Rose was there on the night his mutant powers first manifested, when Wolverine killed the groundskeeper of his family's estate after the man attacked his home. Rose and Wolverine fled together, and Wolverine's feelings grew stronger, but Rose never shared the same passion. The two eventually ended up at a logging camp, and Rose fell in love with someone else, while Wolverine stayed nearby simply to be close to her. Tragically, Wolverine's brother, dog Logan, found them, sparking a violent confrontation. This clash sent Wolverine into a berserker rage, during which he accidentally killed Rose as she was trying to calm him down. Yukio. Wolverine spent a great deal of time in Japan, forming a strong connection to the country. During that time, he found love. When Logan returned to Japan in 1982 in search of his former love, Mariko, he met and fell for Yukio. Yukio ultimately turned out to be an assassin for Lord Shingen, the criminal leader of the Yashida clan. If that crime family sounds familiar, it's because the Silver Samurai also comes from that clan. Wolverine and Yukio eventually became more friends than lovers, and she remains a partner and ally to this day. She even took care of Wolverine's adopted daughter, Amiko, after Mariko's death. It was another example of a brief romance for Logan that ultimately led to a new and beneficial partnership. Getting involved in a romance with Mystique is one of those decisions Wolverine probably wishes he could take back. As the leader of one version of the Brotherhood of Mutants and a recurring enemy of the X-Men, Mystique has fought Wolverine and his allies countless times over the years. But as much as they've stood on opposite sides, the two have also been together, very intimately. They met in 1921, when Mystique was in the Sonoran Desert, about to be executed by a firing squad because her blue skin led locals to believe she was a witch. Beside her was Logan, who was also set to be executed, but for stealing horses. The two escaped together, and Mystique convinced him to join a group she was putting together for a bank robbery. He agreed, and the two entered a fiery romance. However, Mystique ultimately betrayed Logan and his friends by tipping off the police, leaving the rest of the crew to take the blame for the robbery, while she escaped with the stolen money. Storm is a more recent romantic interest for Wolverine, but the two have shared a quiet affection for each other for a long time. After Storm ended her marriage to Black Panther, she returned to the Jean Grey School to run it alongside Logan. Years of flirting finally turned into something more real. The relationship was largely forgotten with the launch of Dawn of X, but for a time, it was quite serious. Wolverine and Storm have always worked well together, supporting one another over the years. Their romance excited many X-Men fans, even though it didn't last very long. On an alternate Earth, we find a variant of Wolverine known as General Howlett, the Governor-General of Canada and Viceroy of the British Empire's expedition to find Shangri-La. This version of Wolverine is romantically involved with the Olympian hero Hercules. As the two greatest heroes of their world, they not only shared many adventures, but also a romantic relationship. Forced to keep their intimacy a secret from both the Greek gods, who forbade relationships with mortals, and the British Empire, which outright banned homosexuality, their secret was eventually exposed. As a result, the pair spent 4 years fighting their way out of Tartarus. The version of Wolverine featured in the Old Man Logan miniseries introduced many interesting concepts. In this dystopian future, Logan eventually met and fell in love with a woman named Maureen, and together they built a life for themselves, living off the land with their 2 children on their own farm. forced to pay rent to the Hulk gang. Old Man Logan gave up fighting and even stopped using his claws, choosing instead to stay home with his children and live as peaceful a life as possible. All of that ended when the Hulk gang attacked his ranch because Logan couldn't pay the rent and killed her. Logan then returned to his old ways, driven by vengeance and a need for justice for those he had lost. Maureen's death was enough to unleash the darkest side of his nature. Long before Weapon X or the loss of his memories, Logan traveled to a frontier community in the Canadian Rockies and met a young Blackfoot woman named Silver Fox, whom he fell in love with. The two shared a cabin and lived happily together for a time. On Logan's birthday, the mutant Sabretooth brutally attacked Silver Fox, assaulting her and leaving her for dead. Enraged, Logan fought Sabretooth in a bar, only to be defeated and left nearly dead himself. After the end of World War II, Logan sought redemption for his past actions in Jasmine Falls, Japan, where he studied under Bando Saburo in an effort to become a better man and leave his warrior nature behind. There, he fell in love with a local woman named Itsu. They married and conceived a child together, which filled Logan with joy. But Itsu was murdered by Bucky Barnes, also known as the Winter Soldier, under the orders of a man named Romulus. Believing that his wife and child were dead, Logan disappeared. What he didn't know was that Romulus had removed the child from Itsu's womb and that his son was adopted by a Japanese couple. The child was named Akihiro, but he would later take the name Daken. When the X-Men traveled to Agarashima, Japan, Logan met Lady Mariko Yashida. Although she could not initially return his feelings, Wolverine fell in love with Mariko, the heir to an extremely powerful Yakuza family in Tokyo. Though frightened at first, Mariko soon grew comfortable around Wolverine. Drawn to her gentle nature, Logan found himself falling in love, and the feeling eventually became mutual. Later, after her father's death, Mariko was named the leader of the Yashida clan. Logan stayed by her side, and the two eventually announced their engagement. Before the wedding, Mariko's half-brother, the Silver Samurai, poisoned the X-Men and fought Logan in an attempt to seize control of the Yashida clan from her. After the Silver Samurai was defeated, Mariko declared that she needed to sever her clan's criminal ties. She felt she could not marry Wolverine until she had done so. There is no denying that Jean Grey is Wolverine's greatest love, a feeling that borders on obsession. The two bonded instantly, much to the endless frustration of her boyfriend and later husband, Cyclops. This relationship has been a major source of tension among the three for many years. One of the biggest retcons in X-Men comics during the 1980s was the revelation that John Grey was also attracted to Wolverine. Before that, Jean barely seemed to think of Wolverine one way or another, even though Wolverine was deeply obsessed with her. Although, in the end, Jean Grey remains with Cyclops, Wolverine is her constant temptation. A temptation she gives in to more than once.